Good evening, everybody, and welcome to LinkedIn Live. Why are you an entrepreneur? The trials and triumphs. And this is also streaming on Facebook. So, for those of you who are joining us there, welcome. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps. And as I say to you every Thursday, I bring you rockstar entrepreneurs for rockstar conversations that for a small business owner allows you to pick up best practices, insights, and inspiration to let you know you are not alone in this journey. And like I say every week, I have another rock star for you tonight. And I'm super excited about this one because I know Denise Millet, the CEO and founder of M Media LLC, and I will tell you, she is truly amazing. So I want to welcome you, Denise.
Oh, thank you, Maureen. I love that. Was such a nice introduction. Thank you.
Oh, and it's totally well
Nice
deserved.
to be here.
So I always like to start out, asking my guests, why are you an entrepreneur? Tell us how you got here.
Wow. Okay. Well, I
Did I
won't go
open
back
up a Pandora's box?
a little bit, but that's okay. That's why we're here.
Right.
Everybody's journey is a journey, right? Um, let's see. I'll go back to I stayed home with my children for a long, long time, and I was fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years. But I missed my work and I missed my career a lot. So when the decks finally cleared and I was able to go back, I picked up a corporate job. And because I had lost all that time, I kind of dove in with 2 feet, 2 arms, my head, and gave 200%. And it was a smaller firm. I was in hospitals, installing software, training people how to use it, hundreds of nurses, 24/7, all sorts of things. And, I loved a lot of it. But it was a small company, so you were doing the work that 5 normal consultants would do in one person, and I just kinda kept doing that and thinking, "Well, if I gave 200%, then they would help me catch up for all the years that I missed and kinda reward me for that." Uh,
Mm.
yeah, and, after 4 or 5 years, it became obvious that they really weren't gonna do that. So I was a woman, they had really no reason, no incentive to do that, and, yeah, so that was tough to stomach, but, I also felt, like, responsible for my clients. I'd been with a lot of them for a number of years. So, anyway, I started looking at copywriting and business copywriting as a side hustle to try to kinda leap out to do something for myself because I was kinda tired of investing all this energy into someone else's dream. So that
Mm.
was the little spark there started happening. And as I kept giving 200% working, I'd leave on a Monday morning, get on a plane, fly somewhere, spend 4 days in hotels, eating bad food, gaining weight, doing all the fun stuff, and buying new suits all the time because I couldn't fit into the others. And I'd come home, I'd work Friday and Saturday all day at home, doing all the stuff I couldn't do on the road. And then Sunday, I'd sleep. And so that was kind of like my cycle, and I did that for a long time, and I was starting to feel bad and physically not feeling great. The stress was getting to me, and I knew it. I knew it. I just felt it in my bones that this was not going where I wanted to go, but I didn't make a change. So
Mm.
then I got a phone call from a doctor after a test that said I had an issue and I needed some surgery, and we caught it early, and that kind of was my wake up call. Kind of said, I cannot afford to be stuck doing something that's making me sick. Yeah, it's not right for me. So it was time to go. And so I had my surgery. I came home, I slept for a year, and then I started building this dream thing where I love marketing, I love copywriting, I love, this whole online world. And since I'm a tech person, it all fit. And so I've been trying to find my way and my little path. And, then the pandemic hit right as I was ready to start. And so,
Yeah.
it kind of slowed things down a little bit too. So that's it in a nutshell. Like, I had a health issue that woke me up completely and caused me to jump. But,
Sometimes we need a little bit of a push.
yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's because we've been displaced in the marketplace, in our jobs. Sometimes, just things happen.
Mhm.
And the biggest wake up call is a health reason, right? That
Yeah.
that tells you all the years that just weighed on you and weighed on you.
And, I'm very, very fortunate, honestly. We caught it early. It was addressed. I didn't have any lingering stuff. Who knows what the future will bring. But of all the things that could have happened, I am probably one of the luckiest people out there. So I'm just thankful that I'm there, even though I didn't allow myself to respond to my signals and my own body's telling me I needed to change. I'm really glad that it wasn't so bad that I couldn't come back from it. So
So, can you tell people who are leaving that corporate atmosphere who, like yourself, maybe are in a situation where they are going into entrepreneurship? How was it different from corporate to owning your own business?
wow. There's wonderful positive things that you can't always feel when you're working for someone else's dream. You get to guide your time, you get to decide what's important, you get to choose what feeds your heart and soul and what you use your intellect for. Um, Politics gets replaced with other things and other concerns, but you really have an opportunity to listen to what's in your mind and grow intellectually, which is really cool. And I do love that part. I think being alone is the hardest part, probably, and trying to navigate this by yourself and just figuring out what steps to take. And so that's probably the hardest part, I would say. So.
So, for people who are thinking about making this transition, what would you recommend that they do first and foremost as they enter into entrepreneurship?
I would say that do your best to identify what it is you really want to do that's going to give you satisfaction because you're alone. If you don't choose something that you really are passionate about, it's very hard to sustain. And I've seen a lot of people try to do things for money and make things big waves and get rich quick, and it really isn't that easy. It
Mhm.
really takes a lot more work, and it's a big investment of your time and energy. So you wanna make sure because you're on your own, we find communities of wonderful people you and I have found along the way in the last 2 years that help
Mhm.
support and sustain us, but when you're starting, make sure you really think there's something that you feel great about because you're gonna do a lot of it. So, that would be my first recommendation. There's tons of other things I could say, but really, if you're happy with the work you wanna try to do and how you wanna serve people using it, that's the core, right?
So, what makes you happiest with entrepreneurship?
Oh, well, I'm a tech nerd, right? So that's my field, and I have always loved the portion of my job that I always loved corporate-wise was, uh, training people how to use it and getting rid of the tension, the stress. I've seen so many people that are brilliant hate technology in my career, and it
Mhm.
breaks my heart. So, for me to see somebody's light bulb go on, that they understand something that I've explained to them is like, yes, so that really moves me, and so I like doing that, and so whether it's search optimization or websites or whatever, I just like to try to distill things into regular terminology so everybody can take advantage of it, and so that really kind of feeds me, so.
So, tell everybody out there who you serve. Who did you decide as an entrepreneur was the person you wanted to help the most?
I want to help other entrepreneurs like myself who are on their own, begin in their earlier stages, get
Okay.
take advantage of all the technology platforms and tools out there without wasting all their time and energy learning all this stuff and stressing out over it, to just be able to take advantage of it because it's such a huge opportunity. I feel like everybody should have the benefit of building their business on those platforms. So that's what I do.
All right. I love it, and I know how good you are at it. So anybody out there who needs
Thank
you
you.
know, with their website, just as we say, just saying, right? So
Yeah, just saying.
as as an entrepreneur, are there certain marketing channels that you're finding to be more successful than others for you, having to reach clients like small business owners?
Hmm. You know, I have to say that I have found the platform we're on right now, LinkedIn, to
Mhm.
one of the places we're streaming, to find many like-minded people. I have, and I've I feel comfortable in this space, and I feel like it attracts people that way too.
Yes.
Facebook has been good for coaches and people who are learning different things in courses and some different groups to branch out to places to find different people. But for entrepreneur space, I'm finding LinkedIn is more beneficial. And Instagram and Clubhouse have also helped support the whole effort. So
You know, it's so funny because I've always loved LinkedIn. That's always been my platform. I don't even have a Facebook, private page. I have company pages, and of course, you have to have a private page, personal page to have one. But I don't do anything with it. It's just not my jam. But Instagram surprises the heck out of me that so many small business owners use Instagram. I never had an Instagram account until I had set
me
up
neither,
Clubhouse
right?
because it forced me. And I even in the beginning said for Clubhouse only. Thought, well, you know what? I
And
got
I
to get
don't
used
really
to it.
I'm not good at using mine, I have to say. I've been so busy doing other things that I try to stay on top of a few events that I have that I can get to, and I'm not super good at doing reels and doing all that fun stuff, but it is more fun, and, it does seem to attract more dynamic,
Yeah,
interactions and things like that, so that's kinda cool. I
yeah.
like it. Facebook, again, I stopped using it personally once I became an entrepreneur. I just took everything off and, said to my family, "It's like, I love seeing your pictures, but, that's all you're
Not
gonna see from
going.
me is you're gonna see a little heart every once in a while. You post a really cute one, and that's about it. So don't worry about it." So,
So, what do you feel has been your greatest success so far in owning your own business?
oh boy. I count every month that I'm still here in front of this camera and meeting people as a success. Because I have to say, for all my training and in technology and the skills I have and the corporate experience, this is a totally different animal to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And the skills you need just are such a huge array from managing the business and accounting and all that stuff and all the skills you need. I just keep learning new stuff all the time. And I think that's been a great success for me. I'm still waiting for that humongous leap product that's going to catapult me into the skies. But right now, I feel like I just make incremental steps every month that I'm here, and I'm learning to be okay with that. So,
I think that's super important for people out there though is you've got to count like even the simplest milestones. The
right.
fact that you're saying, "Well, I'm here this month and I've learned so much more than I did last month." Right? And you just have to keep moving forward and keep moving forward, but you are right. The animal of entrepreneurship is unlike any other, and you just don't know it until you get into it. And you're like, "What the heck did
And
I?"
the fortitude it takes to keep on going in the face of failures or mistakes or whatever you wanna call them. I do believe that every misstep I make is a learning experience and feeds the next positive experience I have. So if I don't make those missteps, then I would never be where I am. So I try not to go down the rabbit hole of, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and just kinda go, "Alright, well, that didn't work. That was not quite what I should have done, but I am moving on?" So I try not to go too deep on the past and keep my eyes ahead. So it's hard, but you
So
get
I
some people around you, it makes it easier.
It is. And I have to tell you, a comment came in from another rock star out there, Judy Hoberman,
Hi,
who
Jude.
says, all those little steps will lead you to the big stuff. Right?
Thank you, Judy.
Right? Thank
Yeah.
you, Judy.
And Judy
Uh,
is queen of steps to move forward for everybody and
yeah.
helping everybody move forward.
Yeah. She's like, all right, here, I'm trying to, I got a bunch of buttons coming in. All right. So I asked you about your success. All right.
Mhm.
So, of
Mhm.
course, there's a flip side to this. What has been probably your greatest, that trial that you said you got to keep moving forward. It is tough, but has there been one particular thing that has stood out that you have had to conquer more than anything?
Wow. I have made some trusting choices
Mhm.
in looking for experts to help me move forward.
Hmm.
And you know, it's funny because it's an unknown world and you're trying to learn things. And some people are so good at presenting their products and their platforms and all the things they do. It's very easy to buy into what they do.
Right.
You have little things inside you and your stomach might be saying, I don't know if this is going to work, you know? So I've made a few steps that have been like, yeah, I should have listened to my gut and not
Okay.
going here. And I think though taking those chances was good because it taught me a lot to use going forward. But while it was happening, it was real strain on my psyche, so I had to really fight forward to keep going because it feels like, oh my gosh, here I am. I've been in business how long? How old am I? And I just bought into this and I knew it was too easy. I knew it wasn't going to work, but
All
it did.
right.
But again, I can't go back and
No.
everything I've done has gotten me where I am. So, there have been moments where I've realized I've made a mistake and it's a costly one or it's a big one and I kind of feel like, oh, and you have nobody to lean on but yourself and you kind of go, oh, this is bad. So you got to shake it off eventually. You let yourself have your moment of panic and then you kind of go, all right, what are we doing tomorrow? So that's been the hardest, I think.
But there's something that you said that's really important. You, as a small business owner, realized you couldn't do it all your own. So you did reach out to, a coach or a mentor or, somebody who you felt could help guide you. You may have chosen the wrong one. And that does happen. But the fact that you had the foresight, you know what I mean? The idea that I do need to find people who have walked this journey before me.
Mhm.
Some will work it well with you and some will not.
Right.
Um, but then you will find those people who are in your camp and who really do have your best
And
interests.
honestly, every single misstep I've made, I have met someone that I still am connected to that keeps me going, that I have been able to help them and they've been able to help me along in my future journeys too. So I feel like I'm building a little bit of band of fun people that if I really need it, I get to call on them and they call on me and it's kind of fun. So it does build community. So in the good and the bad.
All right. I have Judy, who is super involved tonight. I'm loving it, Judy. She says, someone posted this on LinkedIn about failure. I deleted the word failure from my active use vocabulary and replaced it with acceptance. Acceptance of a negative outcome to learn from. Then added it to my positive learning curve and continue to engage my energy towards my vision. I love this. I think
Love
fail is
it.
first attempt in learning. That's her acronym. All right. Thanks, Judy. That is absolutely true. And I
Mm.
always say there's no failure out there. It's just a learning
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah.
that's what you're going through is I'm learning. I'm
Yep.
getting through this journey. And I think one of the strongest things is to surround yourself with a support system of really true, authentic people. It
Yeah.
takes a little while.
Mhm.
Takes a little while.
Gotta
Um,
try a few on before you find the right ones.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
I've been very fortunate, so yeah.
So, how do you want your company to move forward? Like what is in your mind as far as goals and where you want to go? Like what's on the agenda for you?
Oh, wow. Right now, I am leaning on services to provide to entrepreneurs myself. My future is building up a team. I already have a couple of people part-time that help me do different things, and building up a team to take on that arm of the business so that I'm available for writing, course creation, product creation, speaking, that kind of thing. Because I really feel like there's a need for someone to just speak normal language to people about technology. So I like doing it. I'm not a real stage person. It's not always my favorite place, but I'm getting used to it, I have to say. But, I feel like there's a need out there for people who don't take advantage of others and just speak crazy jargon and make them feel like they have to do certain things that don't make sense, so.
Well, it's interesting because I was just talking about like the 5 C's of copywriting. And one of the things I will say is present yourself as if you're talking at a fifth grade level, even if it's a brain surgeon. And so
Right.
technology for people is like brain surgery, and you got to simplify it. And I know that's something you do really, really well. You bring it to a level that people cannot feel intimidated with. I
I
think that's
try.
what it
Yeah.
is to
And,
remove
I
that.
I slip into it too and get me in a room with a few other tech heads, and I can pick it up as the next person can, but I have spent a lot of time trying to train people how to do things and have them not feel bad about it because they don't know it instantly, and I always say, "You can't be an expert without experience," and a lot of people expect themselves to just be able to do this right away. Because they're incredibly intelligent. I'm doctors, nurses, professionals that have great degrees better than I do, like spent years and years in school, and they're intimidated by this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're a brain surgeon for goodness sake. Like, how are you supposed to know this too? Like, would you try to get your driver's license without ever having driven? No. Like, would you expect yourself to pass the test?
Yeah.
No. Like, just you have to give yourself some grace to kind of figure it out a little and not beat yourself up. And yeah,
I have to tell you, I think a lot of it, in my experience, I've seen people be intimidated because of their age. And I don't want that to be the case. It's okay if you didn't grow up with an iPad in your crib. It may not be as intuitive to you, but it's still something that you can manage, you can learn, you can excel at. But if you need help, there are people out there who can set it up for you, who can train you on it, who can, I think, just increase your comfort level with it, you know.
and Maureen, I grew up in a tech world where user manuals got written,
Hmm.
training courses happened, and people cared about bringing people up to speed when they made changes to stuff. Now we're in a world where things change so rapidly, the companies don't invest in that anymore as much.
Hmm.
So the support that you would have given to a user community to feel comfortable with your product, well, they kinda like, "You're on your own, go figure it out."
Um,
And so I think that's hard too, and I think there are a lot of people that speak this tech speak and use the jargon to elevate their own ego and use all this stuff, and they know that the other people don't understand it, but they don't work to make them understand because it makes them feel good to speak the speak,
right,
you know? So,
right.
yeah, I've seen an evolution I'm not really happy with, I have to say, so.
Yeah, but you can come in, you own your own company, you can make changes, right? So you can proceed in a different way. And if
Right?
it's something you don't like, you don't have to answer to anybody to make the change. And that's part of
Right?
having a
That
company,
Yeah,
right?
but, like, some of the platforms that we all use, they don't have guides for people that are up to date. they roll out changes and they go, oh, well, they'll figure it out, or we'll send an email, one email, and maybe we'll say, hey, we changed this, but we're not going to tell you how to fix it, how to make it work.
They don't tell us at all. I mean, I think there were like 12 or maybe even 17 changes with one social media platform last year, and nobody knew any of the new features that could really help them or the discontinued ones that they still think they have in a
Yeah.
strategy. So you're absolutely right. And it's just so rapid.
Yeah, and if you don't spend time going to all the online town halls where they release stuff or
Mhm.
like there was a big conference yesterday and a platform we all use for graphics, and I saw the top 5 things they talked about yesterday, which it would have been an entire day of learning to listen to them talk about these new features. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, everything's going to change. So I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to the recordings. And that's a lot of time, for
It's
everything that we do and all the things we use, but that's the way it works.
And as a small business owner, we're already juggling enough hats. So to keep ourselves on top of just even one sliver of our
Yeah.
business, that is a lot of work.
And keep the purpose of why you're doing your work forefront. So the serving, the stuff that you're passionate about. You can get caught in the weeds of a lot of these things and lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing too. And that's kind of hard to
Hmm.
manage. So
So what inspiration can you offer out there? Like what would be your one, I wouldn't say one word or one sentence or even one quote of wisdom? You choose. What would be inspiring to other entrepreneurs out there based on what you've been doing?
I would say I guess I don't know if it's just entrepreneurs, but something that I live by now is a quote from Maya Angelou. And it's when you know better, you do better. So your energy, you can't give yourself grief for something that you know now that you didn't know when you made a step before, when you made
Mm.
a decision before. So all that energy that you might regret or look backwards on, it's not fruitful. Like it's really, it doesn't make sense because if you were sitting there that day, you didn't know what you know today. So you made a decision and it didn't work. Okay. Well, now you know better. So you're going to do better.
That's awesome.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Well, you have something special that you do, and it's called Marketing Matters.
Yes, I
I
have a
Yeah, I would like you to tell people, what is Marketing Matters, because I think this is one area that people could maybe investigate to get their authority elevated out there, their
oh,
brand awareness. So can you share that?
yes, I am fortunate enough to be one of the founding show hosts on the Win Win Women Network broadcast network. And so I have an hourly show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern where I talk about marketing topics and technology platforms and all sorts of different things for new entrepreneurs and women who are just starting out in business. And I interview people, and you're going to be a guest soon. And
Yes.
I do just a lot of presentations, small presentations, bite-sized people can digest and help them set up their business. So excited.
That
It's
that
also
is awesome.
on Amazon and Roku and Apple TV. So it's replayed there. So it's kind of fun.
I love this, and I think it something that other entrepreneurs can set up for themselves, and it's not super complicated, it's pretty
Well,
simple.
it's open to women. It's a women's network, and
Okay.
anybody who's interested in being a show host and having an hour-long show, I'd be happy to share more information about it. Please reach out to me with whatever contact information Maureen has, or message me here on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I'd be happy to share the info. It's a great organization of women, and it's been really a game changer for me. So.
I love this. Oh my gosh, I certainly want more information about it because I
Well,
didn't
I'll be
know
happy to
any.
tell you. I'll be happy to tell you. I mean, they're looking for they're planning a 24/7 global women's network to support the world, honestly. And right now they have 2 channels that run 12 hours a day and, 7 days a week. But once they expand over into India and Pakistan and some of the other Asian countries, they're gonna be adding more channels with more show hosts and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, Denise, how do people get a hold of you if they need to contact you for your services, if they need some website help and not get caught up in the industry jargon that they can't understand, or if they are interested in marketing matters? How do they reach you besides just a DM here on LinkedIn or on Facebook?
I would go to my website at
Okay.
dmillet.com, millet.com. And I have a contact page and my schedule and a scheduling page and other ways to find me and talk to me. So I'd love to speak to anybody who has a question.
Oh, and I have absolutely loved our conversation. I mean, you are just one of the smartest and like one of the calmest people. You're very
That's what he said.
soothing.
I don't think
Yes.
children would believe that, but okay.
No, and that's what I love. It's just been a great conversation and great getting to know you and your entrepreneurial journey. And I hope you'll come back as you get to that next level to kind of share exactly how this journey is proceeding. Will you do
Thank
that?
you so much, Maureen. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next week on my show too.
I know. So yeah, I'll be on Marketing Matters next week, and
Yeah.
please reach out to Denise because I also do know, and I want you to be able to tell everybody out there. I think you do have some workshops available. Are they available on your?
I do on my resources page on my website. I have
Okay,
a findable, simple ways to be findable workshop that's out there for people, and I think it's a really beneficial thing. So
I do too.
thank
We
you.
all
I
need to be
appreciate that.
findable, so
Yes,
then we can be
definitely,
pickable
and contactable.
and contactable. Yes, all three. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you so much.
Denise. So, for all of you, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my small business owners, I really hope this was helpful. Denise gave us some great best practices out there and some really good inspiration. And so, please reach out to her if you need anything. And if you would like to be a guest here, please reach out to me. You can either DM me on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And I have a form for you to fill out. I am always looking for rock star entrepreneurs, regardless of where you are in your journey. You could just be starting, you could be in business just a few years, or you may be a real pro and have been in business for decades. We want to hear all about it. Please let me know if you need anything from me. You can always reach out, and we will be back next Thursday again with another rockstar entrepreneur for another rockstar conversation. See you then.